Hello, welcome everybody to our last episode of 2020. This is of course Talk with Tawny. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Please hit that subscribe button. I bring you new videos every Tuesday. Our goal here is to create, educate, and have a ridiculously good time. So today we have a very, very special guest. We have the lovely Purple Queen herself, Suher Haidar, planner with Francine Remote Events, and founder of Refined by Suher, coming to the show today, and we are going to talk about your 2021 wedding trends. Suher, come aboard.
Hello everybody. Woo!
Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Tani. I'm very excited for this.
So Suher, tell all of our lovely viewers a little bit about yourself and where to find you.
Well, I am a wedding planner. I've been a wedding planner for a very long time. I'm not going to say how many years, but very, very long time. And I have recently, in the last couple of years, started Refined by Suher, which is a community of people in the wedding industry getting together and learning and being each other's support system and getting educated and just understanding what it takes to be in a wedding industry based out in San Diego. I like the idea of keeping our values up and keeping our prices at a really good price to actually sustain a business in this industry. I absolutely love the people that I get to meet, and it's fun. You're one of the few people that I've gotten to meet, and it's just fun seeing everyone grow and develop in front of me. It's a really good feeling, and I'm very proud to be in the position I'm in right now.
Oh, thank you for coming on board. And if you guys haven't already checked out, her upcoming workshop is January 11th.
Yes.
Right? I'll put it in the show notes. Perfect. So let's talk about the fun stuff. And like I said, we're talking about your 2021 wedding trends.
Yes.
Which is a little weird, a little wacky this year after this whole year of no weddings. I think let's dive into the attire or the dress. What are you going to see for brides?
So what I'm seeing is brides are kind of steering away. I'm seeing a bit of both. I'm seeing brides that are steering away from the big ballroom gown and something a lot simpler, considering to wearing it maybe in a year for their 1-year anniversary. They're going really simple with the dresses. Comfort, effortless is the call that everyone's going for. And then I see other brides that are wanting something very big and extravagant because it's just going to be them and their fiance taking photos somewhere in the mountains or in the desert, and they want that extravagant look. Either way, it's definitely a different feel than what we've been seeing in the last several years, where they're a lot more custom made. And I'm seeing brides that are finding white simple dresses and just dressing them up with a really nice veil and just, going all out with that. And the illusion of having a white dress as a wedding dress is completely off the books now. I'm seeing brides that are coming in with colored dresses that are becoming really popular. Just wait and see. You're going to see some purple dresses out there.
I totally agree with the bride's dress. I think simple is going to be better this year. I think you're going to see a lot of those T-length dresses too, because that's a kind of a traditional elopement style, and it's a little more fun, especially if you're doing an elopement in the middle of the day. It's a little more comfortable.
Absolutely.
And I definitely am going to see those sleeker kind of styles that you're talking about. Less is more, I think, for wedding dresses this year. Also, your mom called and she wants her 80s wedding dress back. I am talking about puffy sleeves, ladies and gentlemen.
So much
bigger
fun.
the better, baby. I think bishop sleeves are going to be really, really huge. You have that big sleeve energy as a bride. So I definitely agree with you with the bridal style coming out next year. What do you think for grooms?
I'm seeing. So what I'm getting from my clients is that our groom is really wanting to get a very nice custom suit made, because that's all there is. It's him and his fiance, his bride, and there's the officiant and maybe their parents, and that's it. So I'm having grooms that are coming in and saying, I definitely want a bespoke style suit, and I want this, and I want my accessories to match this and that, and it's just a completely different feel. Before, you'd hear grooms go to Friar Tuck's, rent a suit, whatever it is now. It's a completely different ball game. I'm working with stylists at Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus, so I'm sending my grooms over to them, and they're picking out these custom suits that are made for them, and they're just spectacular.
I completely agree. I think kind of opposite with brides that we're seeing, grooms are going a little bit more bolder, more custom, more detailed with their attire. They're getting kind of schnazzed up and getting more custom items and details in their suits, which we haven't really seen as much before, because I think their attention was on other things. And now that
Absolutely.
it's just kind of, it is them, they are the center of the show as well, they're getting dolled up a little more.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun seeing the change in the importance of what a suit means to a groom now.
Agreed. Okay, let's talk about florals and decor. So what are you seeing as far as kind of florals and decor?
So this is my favorite thing so far that I've seen. Because weddings in 2021 are most probably, at least in the beginning, going to be a little bit smaller. We're still getting a lot of people that are doing micro weddings, which we love, because what happens is that our couples spend the amount of money they were planning on spending on a bigger wedding on a smaller one, but they're focusing on the attention to detail. The elegant napkins, the chinaware, they're really sitting there and looking at their china and saying, okay, I like the feel of this plate. And they're getting into detail. When it comes to the flowers, they're completely going non-traditional. And we're seeing things hanging. Again, the hanging elements of flowers and whatever you can hang, people are really getting into that. And they're creating this beautiful dinner oasis escape for their 10 or 15 or 20 guests. And they're giving them all an experience at a very nice wedding / dinner kind of effect.
No, I completely agree. I think the detail is going to be bigger and better than before, because a lot of people are downgrading their guest size, but they're upgrading the details. So if they didn't have, the budget to plan for that gold rim type of champagne flute on their table, they're going to get that for their champagne toast. Especially with florals, I think the focus is really going to be on the ceremony, because maybe they have a smaller reception. So I think ceremony florals are going to be bigger and better than ever. I don't know, what do you think about that? I feel like brides' bouquets are kind of getting more petite though.
They are, but they're using nicer quality flowers.
True.
They're going for the peonies. They're going for the anemones. They're going for the flowers that are a little bit more elegant, as opposed to fillers such as hydrangeas and baby's breath and all that other stuff, which we love. But now we're seeing a trend in, I want a smaller bouquet, but I want it to have really nice flowers, gardenias, garden roses. So they're really, couples and brides are really focusing on the smaller details, which we love, because that's what we want. We don't want every guest to have the same color, the same napkin, or the same flatware as the 10 other weddings that we did a few months ago. We want every wedding to have a different feel to it.
Agreed.
So we're definitely enjoying that.
Agreed. I think too, we're gonna see two ends of the spectrum here. We're gonna see a lot of neutral palettes still going strong, and I think we're gonna see a lot more bolder color, and kind of in between that, we're gonna just kind of have this monochromatic layout for each side of the spectrum. I know you love color.
Yes.
I just can't decide.
One day she's color, one day she's not. A really cool thing as well is with Pantone's color scheme right now. We were talking about it earlier. I kind of feel that they said the world needs some brightness. So they popped out their beautiful yellow and their gray tone, and I think we're going to see a big trend in that as well. I feel like it's been around for a while, but now it's just going to get elevated and go straight into the next level.
Yes. If you haven't already heard what the Pantone colors of the year is for 2021, they are two colors. It is Illuminating, which is this really pretty bright yellow, and Ultimate Grey. I think I agree too. That color was, 2016. It was very, very popular, but it was more rustic. So you had the burlap and the mason jars and the chevron prints. And thankfully, we've kind of gone away from that. And I think what you're going to see with those colors is a really, really more modern look to weddings, and a very more minimalistic style, and kind of marrying those two ideas.
Absolutely.
A little more sophisticated.
Yeah.
So I also think something that is kind of being refined a little bit more, that I'm surprised by this trend, are balloons.
Oh my goodness.
How do we feel about balloons?
I was never a big fan of balloons until recently, because now, it's like balloons are for kids' birthday parties. I had someone once say, I want to put balloons. I'm like, no, this is for a kid's birthday party. So what I'm seeing now is, because of the drive-bys that we're having to do, I hate that it sounds like drive-bys. So maybe
a word for this.
Like the drive-through baby showers, or the gender reveals, or the birthday celebrations. We're seeing so many pop-ups of balloon decor and balloon backgrounds, and we have companies that are popping up literally everywhere. RJ Soiree, Gather and Pop, these companies are starting up because there is a need for them. And if there is a need for them, we will supply it. And I'm seeing that trend slowly coming to weddings as well. So I did a proposal where the groom wanted just a balloon backdrop, and it was absolutely beautiful, and it makes sense. You know, why put a bunch of flowers when you can have balloons? And it's like
more
fun,
masculine
and
a little bit.
It's a little bit more whimsical as well. And you know, keep in mind, we did see balloon walls in the past. In the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I think the Kardashians kind of like took that and made that into something really big. And you know, it was that trend was always there, but now there is a foundation for it. Now there are companies that are actually doing it for us. So you know, it's here to stay.
It's here to stay. Yeah. So how do you feel about certain wedding styles, or what wedding styles do you love, or maybe some you want to see go?
Oh, some people are going to hate me for this, but I'm just going to say it. I love the elaborate 3-4 piece china ware setting. I'm kind of losing the touch for chargers. I'm kind of seeing a different feel where the larger plate, which matches the plate set completely. Okay. I'm liking that monochromatic look as opposed to a charger, a dinner plate, a salad plate, a bread plate, a bowl, or whatever is on top. I'm liking that whole feel, and a company that does that really well is Catalog Atelier. They have that feel for them. And if you're going to use a charger, I'm seeing people steering away from glass, which is good. That's something I kind of want to see steer away. We're using more woven placemats being used. We're seeing more copper being used. We're seeing glass being used differently. The acrylic charger has to go. If I see another wedding that does an acrylic charger, we're gonna have a conversation. What I want to see more of is the, a really good one, attention to stationery. I just think it's just taking a different, it's taking a completely different level now because of COVID. People are really focusing, like I said earlier, on the smaller details, and the stationery that they're using has a significance to their story about them and their couple and their significant other. It's showing their 10 or 20 guests how important they are, and it's become almost like a gift favor. I'm seeing it on marble pieces. I'm seeing it on ornaments for the holidays. I'm seeing it on so many different things.
I think people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I think boho has had its day.
Oh yes.
However, we live in Southern California, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, but I see it becoming more
classical.
Yeah, you know, more classic, more traditional. So let's get rid of the macrame and move on to other things if you want to incorporate some sort of boho in your wedding. By the way, this is very, very important. I wanted to bring up, you guys, do not Instagram #boho. Did you know that's on Instagram's list of banned words? So if you #boho, that post will not be seen, which just thought you should know.
Thanks, Instagram.
I also would like to just see us continue to reinvent the art of the green garland. I think green garlands have also had their day. We could do other things. We could do bud vase garland down the middle. We could continue to do just cheesecloths with a ton of candles to make it really, really pretty and sophisticated as well. But I think, you know, kind of changing that design up a little bit, I'd like to see kind of more of those happening.
Absolutely. And I'm also starting to see a trend in the very, my favorite style of flowers is that ethereal feel, where the flowers are, there's no symmetry to the flowers. I've always been one for symmetry, but I'm starting to really love the flowers, how they spread out, and just it's like a romantic poem when you look at them. I think it's dogwood and fir have been doing that, and I just obsess over their Instagram stories. I go over and over and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty. This is one that I wanted to touch base on, is virtual weddings. I don't think that they were or are going to be as popular that we all thought. I just don't think it has the same, obviously, feel to it. I mean, what are your thoughts about virtual weddings?
Well, I feel like those that are still doing the small 10 people weddings, or the ceremonies at least, they are wanting to record them, and I'm seeing a definite rise in videographers.
Yes.
I know for some time people always put that towards the end, saying if we have a budget, then we'll get a videographer. Now I'm seeing that's kind of like at the front, just right next to a photographer, saying we want a videographer and photographer because we want to record everything and make sure that when we have our big celebration in a year or two, once it's safe, we want to highlight that and show all of the guests that couldn't make it to that. So I think that that's really important that we, congratulations, videographers.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because I've even worked with a couple of them during COVID, the smaller, 5 people ceremonies. Our couples say they want to highlight that on their reception dinner in 2022. They want a huge screen so everyone can feel like they're a part of it. And when it comes to virtual, I kind of feel like it's still going to stick around for a little bit because there are people that have definitely dropped down their amount of guests. Even if they're having, a wedding for a reception for 100 people, they were planning on having it for 200. But now that they're dropping it down, I think they're trying to create sort of an ambience so that everyone can have that experience. So that's something that, it's going to be interesting to see.
It's here,
yeah.
It's an option, I think,
Absolutely.
which is always great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about elopements in micro weddings because I think it is a hot topic that it is not going anywhere. I think elopements are only getting bigger. When I say bigger, I mean the plans to where to do the elopement. The backdrops are getting bigger. The mountains are getting bigger. The adventure is getting bigger when it comes to elopements. I think people aren't afraid to really push the boundaries of where to go for those.
I'm getting so many couples going to Lake Arrowhead, hiking up a trail with their boots and the wedding dress and then changing into their dress shoes once they get to the ceremony peak. I'm seeing people going into Idlewild. I'm seeing people going into Big Bear. I'm seeing people
Yosemite
is huge with all the beautiful trees.
Joshua trees.
Yeah. Palm Springs. I'm seeing people renting out houses. Definitely the micro wedding is here to stay. I kind of feel like we all love the idea of doing micro weddings in the past. It was a fantasy, 20, 30 guests, but very detailed, very beautiful pieces of furniture, chairs, tables, everything you can think of. Now it's here to stay. Now we don't have a choice. Now we're going to take that and perfect that. And I'm so excited to see all the creativeness that's going to come out when we have a bigger budget to work with and to create a beautiful tablescape for our couple. I have a bride that's getting married in May. And I was just on the phone with her a couple of days ago and she's like, I am so excited that I'm doing this 10 people wedding where I get to have all my beautiful chinaware and all of my velvet chairs and I just want a beautiful backdrop for the photo booth. Even though it's 10 of us, I just want it to look spectacular. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is heaven.
Yeah, no, I love micro weddings and I don't love the term micro because I think scientifically it makes sense. It's a smaller guest count, but there's nothing micro about it.
No.
It's even bigger and bolder and more detailed than your original wedding if you had a bigger guest count. And I think it is here to stay. And again, like I said, there's nothing micro about it. You're still gonna pay the same rate for a photographer for an 8-hour micro wedding day versus, an 8-hour day that has 200 guests. Same with the planner. You're not going to necessarily be, spending less money for the services that you're getting.
Still getting the same services.
Same services, more detail, just the guest count's really smaller. So I really want to emphasize that there's nothing micro about micro weddings besides kind of the actual guests, I would say.
Absolutely. And I kind of feel that having a micro wedding for the vendors, it's a little bit more difficult than it is for a much bigger wedding because with a bigger wedding, you can justify having 2 or 3 assistants.
Sure.
With a micro wedding, you have 10 table settings or, 20 table settings.
Yeah.
And you can't bring in this whole entourage of people to do all of the table settings. So you as a planner, pivoting a little bit and saying, what, I'll make this work for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out because people are not understanding the importance of having X amount of people running a 10 people show, 10 people event or a wedding.
We're working harder.
We're working harder. We're definitely working harder. And it's great. We love it. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure you love it as well. But the term micro, we need to come up with a new term for 2021.
Yeah,
I think we should call it purple weddings.
Purple weddings.
I'm joking a little.
Okay, so I think you touched base on this, but stationery. I think stationery is having a moment right now.
I love it.
Thank goodness
my gosh.
our calligraphers and all of our stationery vendors work so hard. They put in hours of work to make things absolutely beautiful. My chicken scratch wouldn't pass that at all. So I love the fact that stationery is becoming more popular, and you're kind of really spending money on the items and those details that matter, from, you know, place cards to invitations that are really, really pretty and detailed. I love it, everything about it.
Absolutely. And I just to name a couple of companies that I'm obsessively in love with. Miller Maker is one of them. She's so good and she's so talented, and she's just very easy to work with. And then you have Nikki from Lavender and C. Nikki from Lavender and C. And then you have Whimsique, Melissa, like, come on. And then, you know, and I'm seeing a lot more of Wendy Ware out there as well, because Wendy Ware is like one of the classics of this industry. She's been doing this for so many years, and I see people really appreciating her work, and I'm really excited to see, you know, what's coming out of that. It's going to be amazing.
I love it. Well, obviously food and beverage has kind of changed too when we're having smaller weddings and in the era of COVID alone. So what are you kind of seeing as far as trends in the food and beverage department, or even desserts?
Well, first of all, with desserts, I'm seeing couples that are wanting kind of like a 6-course meal, where the dessert is the final product, as opposed to having a cake to cut or a dessert bar. I'm definitely seeing a trend in that, where they're wanting that experience for their guests, because it's less people. It's starting from, you know, salad, soup, bread, to the main, to the dessert, to the coffee, to the drinks, to the to the drinks, to their wine selection. They're definitely respecting that whole process, which is great. And I'm also noticing that obviously buffet is pretty much gone for now. We don't know when that's going to come back, and I'm kind of like secretly, thank goodness, because, you know, none of us wedding planners really love buffet, but, you know, we like it, but we don't love it. But we're definitely seeing a trend in hiring caterers for smaller events, because they want that experience, they want that feel. And with these private parties that are happening in, you know, home estates and what have you, we're definitely seeing a lot of people such as Coast Catering, Giuseppe's, a handful of caterers that are coming out and, you know, creating these smaller packages. I just did a wedding recently with I Do Weddings with Melissa, and it was for about 25 people, and Coast Catering came in, and rather than having a full course meal for them, they decided to have just heavy appetizers the whole entire night. And I'm also seeing that kind of completely shift from, you know, a 6-course meal to more of a fun experience where just people are hanging out, and it's not as formal, and they're just serving heavy appetizers throughout the whole night. So that's a really good feeling too.
Awesome. Anything else?
Let's play with these.
And there you have it, folks.
That
is your 2021 wedding trend report. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you like this video, hit that like button or share with a friend. Our business is based on referrals, and we'd love to connect with someone new. As always, stay creative and be legendary. Happy New Year!